the Bombay Stock Exchange aims to scale up the SME exchange and expects to list almost 200 companies by June this year. To discuss this in detail, Ajay Thakur, head for BSE SME, and Mr. Mahavir Lunawat, managing director at Pantomath Capital, joins us live in the studio here. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. Mr. Thakur, let me come to you first. I mean, it's an exciting time for the primary market. We are seeing new listings and the huge excitement around the larger IPOs as well, be it a DMart or even other major names. But take us through what the sense is on ground as far as SME listings are concerned. I mean, are you seeing some kind of catch-up that SMEs are playing up to? And is there some kind of renewed enthusiasm ever since the primary market has recovered a little since the last year?
Is this the question for me?
Yes, sir. Mr. Thakur, please carry on.
Yeah. In fact, we have started this SME platform on March 2012. Initially, we have not seen much of the interest, but slowly, as we have seen more and more companies coming on the SME platform, we have found more and more merchant bankers getting associated with this SME platform. And as far as last 2 years are concerned, though the primary market has started doing well, we have seen many companies coming onto the main board also. But at the same time, we have seen a lot of interest on this SME platform. A lot of companies have started coming. They have shown interest. So whether the large share board is doing well, but at the same time, we are observing that this SME platform has also started doing very well. In fact, this year we have seen maximum number of companies getting listed on BSE SME platform. Today also we have seen 2 companies getting listed. So in last 1 week we have seen almost 7 to 8 companies listed on this BSE SME platform. So I think there is a lot of interest, a vibrancy is there as far as SME platform is concerned. Small and medium companies have started showing confidence and trust in us. And the fear and the myth that was existing earlier has started certainly getting out, and more promoters are coming forward to get their company listed on this SME platform.
Right, and we've got a merchant banker as well who handles the listings of many of these SME companies. Mr. Lunawat, let me start with this. What kind of a pipeline are you seeing? I mean, are you seeing renewed enthusiasm in applications, in the interest from SME entities to list and raise primary capital? And how many issues have you handled it this year? What does the pipeline look like? If you can compare it, some numbers with the last year.
Yeah, I mean, the way, Mr. Thakur has said that we are witnessing a lot of renewed interest, and activity level at primary as well as secondary is increasing. Last year, we have seen 66 IPOs coming in SME platform as compared to, 35 in 2015. And if we compare on financial year basis, this financial year we have seen almost 78 IPOs getting completed, as against 50 IPOs in the last financial year. And in terms of funds raised, I mean, last year perhaps we raised cumulatively more than 300 crores, and this time in this financial year the amount raised is more than 800 crores. So I think it's 2.5 times increase in terms of value, and in terms of numbers also it is increasing. It is rather galloping. So we have handled more than 30% of SME IPOs, and cumulatively happy to share that we have handled maximum IPOs. 40 IPOs we have already completed, and recently we completed one IPO where we got financial institution bid also, and we have also handled the maximum, the biggest IPO of more than 50 crores. So more bigger and bigger companies are also started coming in the market raising funds. And regarding pipeline, I mean, with the help of exchange, with the help of regulators and government departments, we are creating a lot of awareness in the society, in the SME clusters, and as a result, there are tens of companies which are working on, and I think we can easily look at listing 50 companies in next 6 months and add to the this growing market.
That seems to be quite encouraging. Mr. Thakur, you heard this as well, and if you can take us through, BSE has just listed, And we are seeing a lot of enthusiasm and buoyancy from this particular SME platform of the BSE, and the company intends to go big on it in future in the long run as well. Can you take us through some of the key numbers, if you can share with us, what is the kind of fee, what is the kind of margin that companies pay typically? Is there any scope for expansion in that? Some numbers if you can share with us.
See, as far as BSE is concerned, till today we have got 173 companies listed on our stock exchange, raising around 1,340 crores, and the market capitalization is almost 17,500 crores. So these are the numbers that we have seen on the SME exchange. But of course, what we have observed that after listing on the SME platform of the stock exchange and taking the guidance from the merchant bankers, because the guideline says that the merchant bankers have to be with the company for minimum 3 years. So the merchant bankers have done a lot of hand-holding for the promoters. Before listing also, they clean all the documents, papers, and do all the compliances which are required. And because of that, what happens that post-listing, the company starts running very smoothly. They know how their numbers are, where they are lacking in doing the business, where they are lacking in profit margins and all those things. And because of which, post-listing, what we have observed that most of the companies have started showing better results. Their profit margins have gone up. And because of that, we have seen the investors' interest also starts coming into those companies. The valuation of the company have increased manifold in last 4-5 years. The BSE SME IPO index has also seen the almost 10-fold jump in their value. So I think the whole ecosystem starts coming in place. At the same time, what we have observed that the employment generation has also increased post-listing in the companies. In fact, almost 50% increase we have seen in the manpower that they are recruiting. At the same time, what between the lull period that was there in the primary market, when the lot of companies were not coming onto the main board, because of this SME platform, we have seen a lot of new merchant bankers start coming, and they start working onto the SME platform. And because of this, we have seen also employment generation in the financial market. So of course, this bringing the SME companies and creating a vibrancy in the SME platform has created a 360-degree system whereby all the participants, whether we talk or all the stakeholders, they are benefiting from this.
Right. Mr. Thakur, interesting to speak about valuations, and let's speak a little in detail about subscription numbers as well. Mahavir, I would want to ask this to you. We've seen huge, healthy subscription numbers from the HNI category, institutional categories for larger issues like DMart. What's the kind of subscription trends that you're seeing for SME IPOs? I mean, is there some gap that is still left from the institutional side, the mutual fund side? And in terms of compliance and regulatory issues, I mean, Mr. Thakur is saying that they have done a lot to enhance and boost merchant bankers to come on stream. What is left? I mean, what is more desirable? And in terms of subscription levels, what are the trends that you're seeing now?
Yeah, I mean, I must compliment and congratulate Exchange in terms of facilitating merchant bankers, in terms of hand-holding not only merchant bankers but even going to the doorstep of SME clusters and making this whole concept popularized. In terms of some of the trends on subscription, particularly from last 1 year, we have seen a healthy trend of more and more investors participating in this segment, and IPO started getting subscribed to 7 times, 10 times. So we have seen in Vidli restaurant, which got listed on BSE SME last year in February. Then we have seen Cisco Industries again getting oversubscribed by 10 times. So commercial Sinbags, Indore-based company in packaging industry, that got subscribed by more than 7 times. So like that, we have seen more and more, retail, HNI, and some of the informed investors also, coming and participating. But the institutional participation we have recently witnessed in couple of IPOs, even institutional investors. But I think institutional participation is, according to me, is still far below the desired level. And that's where we are talking to policymakers. We are even talking to the PSUs like, insurance companies, LIC, GIC. We are talking to banks, treasuries to start looking at SME market, favorably. And participate, because I think more and more institution investors participating will further broad base this market. So there are a lot of trends which are emerging in terms of, if you talk of average IPO size, it started increasing from, let's say, how it was, let's say, in the range of 6 to 7 crores per IPO. Now it is more than 10 crores, and we have recently concluded one IPO which is more than 51 crores, so which is the biggest IPO on SME platform. So more bigger and bigger stronger companies are coming up with even turnover of more than, let's say, 300 crore, 400 crore. We even listed one company on BSE SME for more than 600 crore turnover. So when these companies come up and tap market, then this gives a very clear message. This is not a kind of subservient platform. It's basically a platform to raise growth capital, where the compliance levels are relaxed, as Mr. Thakur has rightly observed, and more investors are it's kind of a win-win situation when we talk that this SME market has become the world's fastest growing market, both in terms of number of companies that are coming and getting listed on SME platform, and also in terms of the returns these companies are providing. So for example, Pantomath SMX 30 has given more than 70% CAGR over last 3 years, which makes this SME as the best yielding asset class in today's time.